Welcome back, Gary Brown, Fortune On. I notice even some of the adults and a lot of the kids, I take care of their Facebook page and their website and stuff, and so I get a lot of their emails. Well, not all their emails, but a lot of their questions on Facebook and different stuff. You know, oh, my son wants to start and all this, and even grown-ups. I mean, the thing is, I'm not a framer, and I can nail a nail in the wall pretty good, but I'm nothing like a guy that does it for a living. But a lot of these grown-ups and kids, but especially the kids that haven't done a lot of hammering, will come in. I want to be a blacksmith, and then they pick up the hammer, and you don't want to hit your hammer on the face of the anvil down here, because you chip it all up. So you want something in between it: hot steel, cold, mild steel. As long as it's mild between here, the two hard faces. You want it in between, and so they can't hit the broadside of the barn. So a lot of times, president of our club, he'll basically say, go home, get you 1,000 nails, drive them in a 2x4, practice hammering, because they have no eye-hand coordination. And it's not just kids. I said, I've seen adults that can't do it, and they'll try, and they'll swing, and then they get to where they'll choke up, and and they're not moving much because they ain't really getting any swinging time. So practice before you take lessons, before you start, as part of your beginning lesson, practice swinging. And all you have to do is, there's some hammer technique. It can be this kind of a hammer. I actually started my blacksmithing in the class with a set of really cheap, as you can tell, really cheap ball peen hammers. They used to hold up a lot better, but over time they've even loosened up. I mean, I forgot, these were like the cheapest things you could find, and I had them for years and years and years, just a set. I actually got the bigger one than this I used. But, and that's what I did for the first almost 2 months. Yeah, almost 2 months. And then I tried different hammers from different people and different things, and I ended up liking this one, and I bought this online. But I wanted to try. I tried this style. I tried the regular. I guess it's a German style. This is Swedish style. I don't think I tried the French style, but I tried different styles. Anyway, that was available at the shop, and I ended up liking this one, and I went with it. And then I actually went and bought a later on. Got sawdust on it. I bought this engineering hammer at a flea market for maybe $2 or $3. And I took it to a full-time blacksmith I know, his shop, because he had a big belt sander. I couldn't get it right. It's like knife sharpening kind of belt sander things. Had a slack side and all that. And he dressed the face and he made it into a rounding hammer. So for $3, and then some of the guys were doing them. They would take your hammer home and do it for you for $3 or $4. So, I mean, you can pick up one of these for a few bucks used. And then, even if you have to pay somebody $3 or $4, you got a good beginner rounding hammer. I still use this. This is my only rounding hammer. I might buy a new one sometime, but I don't need it right now. So whatever hammer you need, learn the technique. You want a loose swing. Here, I'll get this one out. You want a loose swing in your hand. See how it's flopping in my hand here? Like that. Not so much that it's just flopping around, but you want to be able to hold it back here. If you have to choke up to get control, then choke up. But you kind of want to get back, get more power. You work your way back. But you're going to direct it with just enough grip to aim and direct it. But you let it whip down. So it's whipping in your hand, and your hand's not whipping. You have a death grip on this thing, and it's swinging it. Your hand and arm is going to not last at all. But you'll see people, and they're letting the hammer do the work. They bring it up, and they flop it down, bring it up, flop it. But they're doing it with control, and that's what you want to work up to. But here's some quick techniques if you're wanting to start out. You can do a couple different things. So let me switch this around, show the anvil, and I'll just show you the stuff I see people do versus what you want to practice before you take your first lesson, if you can. If you're going to pay for lessons, one thing you can do is you don't want to hit hammer on anvil, even if it's whatever you're using for an anvil. So you want something in between. And the other thing is don't do this on like a workbench that's up, this much higher than, it's way higher than your anvil, and you get used to hammering way up high, And then you get your anvil and you're hammering down here where you're supposed to be, and you're all off whack. So if you can, set up whatever you're going to hammer on around your anvil height, which is anywhere. There's different rules, anywhere from your knuckles being on it like this. Some people say your wrist. This is actually knuckles for me, and I think I'm going to raise it up a little bit so it's more closer to my wrist height. I'm going to build I got a wooden block under mine, but it's starting to get old, and it bounces around a lot, it moves a lot, so if you can bed them in the ground, the wooden ones, that's great, but I'm going to make a metal one, and I'm going to fill this feet with sand. So just take, make your X on the thing. I'll do it down here on this edge so it's not so much higher. And then just practice hitting that X. Now, let me see if this is showing up or not. Alright, so I'm coming up and I'm letting it flop down. I'm just controlling it. And if you can, I don't know if you can see, I'm letting my hand it's almost between these two fingers. And this is what happens. What I see in the shop is a piece of mild steel here. This is a piece of mild steel 1/4 inch rod. Good thing to start with. Not even heating it up. I don't even have to heat it up. I catch a lot of people, they'll go to hit it, and they'll end up working here, and they'll move to the middle. And what happens is they'll go to hit it, and they'll come down, and they'll miss the whole thing, hit the steel right on the anvil, which is bad. Everything you do, you're going to draw out a taper. You want to be able to hit, and what happens is you want the anvil is putting force up as well as you're coming down. So if you say you want to put a taper on this piece, you're going to come down this at an angle. I'm going to over exaggerate. You're going to come down at an angle, and you want your anvil, the piece, at an angle, because it's actually going to flatten it from the bottom at the same time you're flattening it from the top. And see, if I hit this, I don't know if you can see, the edge of my hammer is actually probably below the edge of the anvil, so I can whack, and I'm never hitting the edge of my anvil. I'm just hitting the edge of this. And see, you can see it's smashing it down just that little bit, and I don't even have it hot. And that's the first thing you're going to do. Everything you do, I don't care if you got round rod, square rod, whatever you're using, if you're going to make a hook or anything, or you're drawing, everybody draws it out, which means stretching it, and it gets longer. Because in blacksmithing, everything is, you're not removing much metal. It's not like you're grinding it away. You're moving the metal. So you can take this and you want to put a point on it. It may come out that long, and then so you're actually moving the metal out, making it skinnier. So that's drawing it out. But everything, if you want to have a round end on a round rod, first thing you're ever going to do is make it square. So get this close to the edge, hold it at an angle, hold your hammer at an angle, like over exaggerated here, but it's more like this, and you hit it. And you hit it. You see, now I've kind of got I don't know if that's showing up right. So now it's kind of going square. So you always hear them say, go square. And that's what they'll do, square. The point of this is you want to practice hitting here. And I've seen people, and they'll come in and I'll say, now hit it at an angle, and they'll want to hit it straight, and they hit it this way. Or they hit even square. And they're hitting, and they're going, why isn't it? And what happens is they'll come down and it just flattens. The whole end flattens instead of tapering. They're just hitting it down like this. And they're going, and they're saying, why isn't it tapering? Well, they're holding their hammer wrong, and it's just flattening it. So, okay, so the first thing you want to do is get your piece of this mild steel. Get your whatever hammer you're going to use. Not lose. I hope you don't lose it. And you're going to practice that. I'm over exaggerating right now. You don't want that floppy, but you don't want a death grip. Don't put a death grip on it, because you'll just kill your hand. That's what the death grip's going to do. You want to control, and you want to let it do the work. Let it flop back. come down, flop back, but you're controlling mainly with these fingers here, and this is just for guidance, just to kind of keep it from going too far back, and do your, see, let the weight of that hammer do your work for you. Use your arm, and you don't want, you don't want to just, you want to use your arm, everything's an extension, and practice hitting some mild steel on the far side. That's how you draw things out. If you're starting out, get on the far side of your anvil, it's the side away from you, put it close as you can get, come hold the piece at an angle like this, not this much of an angle, but so, and your hammer at an angle, and let it go. Okay? Practice that. If you don't have a little piece of, I mean, you don't have to be 1/4 inch, you can get ½ inch, you're just not going to move it very much, but you just want, the whole point being you want mild steel between this hardened face and that hardened face. So you want any kind of mild steel. If it's ½ inch piece, 1/4 inch piece, square rod, round rod, just get you something long enough you can hang on to it. And you may want a glove if you're doing this cold, because it does kind of vibrate up through your hand pretty hard. And practice, 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 because you're going to go in and they're going to start showing you techniques right off the bat. And if you can't hit the piece and you keep going off to the side and hitting the anvil and you can't get anything done, you're never going to learn, because you can't learn the first blacksmithing techniques because you can't hit something. So learn to hit it, okay, and practice and get out there with a hammer and nail. But like I said, don't get on a 32-inch bench or even higher bench, like a woodworking bench or something. Set your board up there and start driving nails up here, because now you're getting eye-hand coordination here. You want it down low, wherever your anvil height's going to end up being, and put your board, or whatever you're going to use, down here, and hit it. Okay? But like I said, I noticed that with several people at the blacksmith shop. Some were in late teens, some were fathers with their kids up there, and they were still having troubles. But I remember trying to teach one kid, and he could not hit at an angle this way. He kept hitting it this way, and he was just making this. And instead of making a nice taper, he would make it a thin, flat piece. It might have been square, but it was just thin and flat and mushed all the way down. We'd have to cut it off, and he'd have to do it again. So it was just over and over. And he finally made it through. He finally learned, but he frustrated the instructors. He frustrated himself, and you don't want to go through that. So just practice. Hope you have a blessed day, and hope you don't get discouraged. Just get out there and hit something. I mean, just get some boards, get some soft metal, and just practice swinging over and over and over and over and over. I mean, get it to where you can hit it regularly, and then once they teach you, oh, do this, 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 that part's ingrained in your brain already, and you're set. Have a blessed day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.